Hola Madridistas, welcome to another preview edition of the Let's Be Real podcast as we are going to take on Villarreal away at the La Ceramica on Saturday for match day 28. Just 10 more match days to go after this. And so joining me on this preview is football writer extraordinaire Rahul Lakhani, a friend of the show, and he also runs the La Liga London Twitter page. So give him a follow. All the descriptions, all the links are down in the description below. And of course, also joining me in this preview is my usual partner Farooq, who brings the magic spice to the show. Anyways, let's start with you, Rahul. How have you been? What have you been writing in these last few days?
Hi, been covering, well, just everything La Liga, and obviously this week has been so much to talk about with the Madrid derby in the Champions League in the round of 16. Barcelona going through against Benfica as well. And then in Europa League yesterday, Real Sociedad going out to Man United, but Athletic Bilbao turning around against Roma, Real Betis beating Victoria Guimaraes. So it was all in all a fairly good week for La Liga sides. And yeah, like some serious drama there. That Madrid derby was just incredible to watch, really.
Absolutely. Farooq, did you catch any of those games? Have you recovered from the theatrics of the derby?
Definitely not, man. Like it's something that still keeps playing on my mind. The double touch, the lack of the double touch, and what could have been and what couldn't have been. But I actually saw the extra time between Fenerbahce and Rangers. Actually, like it kind of seemed like Fenerbahce should have won that game, but then it went to pens, and pens is always a toss of the coin, and you need to see some comical penalties. At least one of them was really comical from the Turkish fullback. I think his name was Hakan something, and Fenerbahce actually gave a very good game last night, I felt. But yeah, it's just a toss of a coin, but not fully recovered from what happened, on Tuesday.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
rather Wednesday, sorry.
I don't think any Real Madrid fan has, and but we have a game coming up, so let's hope at least the players are ready mentally and physically. It was a long game. I did catch the Sociedad Man United game for a bit, and then I tuned out, after what happened, and then I saw the highlights for the Roma game as well. Matt Hummels coming out and apologizing at the end. Yeah, heartbreaking for them, but yeah, good for La Liga in general. But Rahul, tell us about Villarreal, man. For most fans from outside the La Liga, Villarreal have been flying kind of under the radar. You guys have lost Sorloth, you guys have lost the keeper Jorgensen, and still have been able to put up a very decent fight in La Liga, and especially in recent weeks. How has that been going for you?
Yeah, so I'd say it's been a fairly enjoyable season overall. In the summer window, there was a big rebuild, like about 10 or 11 players left, and like including Francis Coquelin, Etienne Capoue, Jorgensen, Sorloth, who was top scorer. It was a huge rebuild. It was a really big gamble in the summer window, but a lot of the signings have been really good. Ayoze Perez, for me, has been signing of the season, La Liga. 4 million from Real Betis, I think it was, even less.
Yeah.
And yeah, he has been so good. He's scored so many crucial goals. He's been, player of the season for Villarreal as well. And yeah, two goalkeepers came in, a couple of defenders came in, a whole new midfield pretty much. And yeah, so it's been a good season in that sense. I think the expectation was to hopefully get to qualify for Europe, but then that changed throughout the season where Villarreal have seen Betis, Sevilla, Real Sociedad. They're all having terrible seasons by their own standards. And so, top four spot, I said in November, I said that should be the goal this season. Like the opportunity to get into the top four is better than it has been in a few years. But then with Athletic Club doing really well on Ernesto Valverde, it's been a real dogfight there. And it'll still go, I think. So Villarreal are playing Athletic Bilbao in a few weeks. And that game, if Villarreal can win, then it really opens up the top four race. If not, then go and secure fifth and then hope the La Liga coefficient can give.
Yeah, and you haven't even mentioned Thierry Barry. How good It's also been flying under the radar for most La Liga fans.
Season. But right now, I don't think he'll be starting tomorrow because I think we Ayuso Perez and Nicolas Pepe. And that to me is a bit annoying because I think I quite want Barry in there with Perez as a more physical, more chaotic profile up front. Pepe's been starting up front in recent weeks, but I think he'd be better suited to the wing. And he's a very good player, Nicolas Pepe. He's had some really good moments. He's had some injuries as well this season. But yeah, I think I prefer if he was on the wing with Barry as a bit more of a focal point up front as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And obviously, you guys kept a few of your players, the backbone of the team. Alex Baena is still playing. Is he still displaying the same form that we lost also last season? He was joint top assister or something.
Oh yeah, he's been brilliant. He's still creating chances at a phenomenal rate. He's someone who can win a game on his own, and Villarreal don't have a lot of that outside of Bayana and Perez. It seems almost certain that Bayana is going to leave this summer, unless Villarreal get Champions League football and he decides to stay for one more season. I think he'll end up leaving, and it could be within La Liga too, potentially Atletico Madrid. But yeah, he is phenomenal. I can't speak highly enough of him. I think Villarreal have had a lot of talents over the last few years, and a lot have gone to other clubs such as Jackson, Jorgensen have gone to Chelsea. Yeah, like there's been a lot of good players at Villarreal, and he is up there, if not the best. He is a brilliant, brilliant footballer, and he's also someone who comes with a bit of an attitude after, especially what happened with him in Valverde a couple of seasons ago. He's someone who, at times, I do think needs to be a bit more disciplined. But then we like seeing personalities in football. We like seeing a player with flair, a player who can dribble, create chances, and also has a bit about him. And I think that's something that's lost in football in the last few years. And he's a throwback to players of old, really, players of 10 years ago, true playmaker with a lot of skill and a lot of technique and vision.
Yeah, absolutely. And Real Madrid fans just absolutely hate to see him. Farouk, is your perception of him going to improve if he moves to Atletico Madrid?
That's a fantastic, question that needs to answer. Definitely, what I mean. Bayern, especially, what was alleged, to have said, to Fede, and especially the situation where Fede and, his family were at that point in time. It's something that I think, even if Bayern joins Real Madrid, he's still gonna, find it very difficult to win over the fans. I just, let me put it that way.
Yeah, it's gonna be really difficult. And but for us, just considering the previous season, as long as we're talking about it, it's the 4-4, right? Soloth scored 4 against us, and after that, once we heard about the fact that Soloth is going to join Atletico Madrid, and then we were all thinking, okay, Villarreal are going to go, just going to drop off, and that hasn't really happened. They have been really entertaining to watch this season, like in the top 8, like one of the top scorers. But you guys have conceded a lot of goals, Rahul, is that really a concern, or is that something that, a matter of not being lucky in La Liga?
I think that's the biggest concern because Villarreal are one of the top scorers in the league. And in most games, I'm never concerned about whether Villarreal can score. We have this running joke now, a few Villarreal fans and I. And every game, no matter how good Villarreal are, they find a way to concede. And I can't even remember when the last clean sheet was. I don't know. Against Vallecano a couple of weeks ago, yeah, there was a clean sheet then. That must have been the first in a long time. Because, yeah, even when Villarreal 5-0 up, they'll go and chuck the ball in their own net. They have to. Like they were really determined not to keep a clean sheet for a long time. And yeah, it's been a weird one in terms of the goalkeeping situation because Diego Conde came in and he was really good in Segunda last season, and he started the season superbly. So much so that the big money signing Rogério Jr. he couldn't get into the team at all. He came as Villarreal's most expensive goalkeeper ever. But Conde had started so well; his shot saving reflexes were unbelievable. that he ended up keeping his place. But then in the last kind of couple of months or so, he's fallen off a bit. So Lavez's goal last week was a pretty awful error from Conde, and he's had a few of those. And so I think I'd like to see Rogério, the younger Brazilian keeper, I'd like to see him come in for an extended run. He's not really had much of an opportunity yet. And I think when that happens, who knows, maybe the defence stabilises a bit. But yeah, it's been
So
a tough one.
it's just the organization that's missing, yeah, in the back of the defense. It's not individual
Yeah.
errors. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not in terms like the individuals themselves are pretty good. Like Logan Costa came in this summer, he's been really good. Camboala came in from Man United when he's played, he's impressed me a bit. Juan Foyth is now back from injury; he was out for a while, and he came in as centre back initially, and then moved back to right back where he played under Unai Emery. And Sergi Cardona left back; he's been phenomenal recently going forward. So it's not a case of they need better individuals, but it is the organisation. Over the last 2 years, it's been a bit of a mess at the back. Like last season, especially, it was a disaster. Like Jorgensen made the most saves in La Liga last season. That's because he was just getting fired at every game. And now that there's been a lot of change in the back four, Cardona joined the summer, Logan Costa joined the summer, Camboala joined the summer, new goalkeeper. It was always going to take some adjusting. For a back four, they need familiarity when they play with each other. And it also feels like it changes every week as well. Like there's not been much continuity at all, and that I think really affects how Villarreal can defend their defensive line, their defensive organisation. And I think overall that if Villarreal don't get top four ahead of Athletic Club, that will be the thing that costs them.
Absolutely. So Farouk, just listening to all of this, we're going to be facing a Marcelino team again, and is it almost like pulling teeth for you watching these matches?
Definitely, man, and that's the thing, like, you look at this game and the context of what it is coming off of the back of the game that we played against Atletico Madrid, where literally we gave everything, blood, sweat, soul, whatever, and then you go into this game, teams are challenging for, European football. It's going to be really, really difficult in considering what, our matchup with these guys have been over the past, at least the past couple of years, since Marcelino joined the team. It's going to be really, really, it's going to be really difficult. And I think, like the title of, today's episode says Tricky Ceramica. I think it should be written as Risky Ceramica, because I feel like, it's a very, very big risk that, we go into the Ceramica on Saturday and we come out with nothing.
Yeah.
Like, this is just it. Like, it's a really, really, big game for us. For them also, because like they're chasing Europe as well. It's a really, really big game for Real Madrid, honestly, coming off of the back of, a very, very demanding game during the midweek, and considering that these guys have literally not played, since last Saturday. So, yeah, I really, really dread that game, honestly.
Yeah, it's going to be the same for, on the other side of the match day with Atletico and Barcelona. Atletico are going to be really up against it for sure. Rahul, what do you make of that fixture? Who do you think is going to come out on top?
Sorry, which one? Barcelona?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see anything. I don't know. It's a strange one because right now I think Atletico couldn't have picked a worse opponent to face after the week they've had. And they've also got them in the Copa del Rey soon enough in a couple of weeks, and that's 4-4 in aggregate from the first leg. And I think Atletico, their whole season now rides on that game. Now they're out of the Champions League. If they lose to Barca, lose ground in the title race, having just had that heartbreaking penalty shootout, then yeah, I think that's their season imploding within a week.
Yeah.
So I think they would have picked anyone else in the league, maybe apart from Real Madrid, to face this weekend. And with Barcelona, yeah, they navigated Benfica. They played really well actually on Tuesday. The form they're in, the form their attackers are in, like if there was a chance for them to win the Metropolitano, it's now. And especially the form Lamine Yamal is in, the form Rafinha is in. Those two can cause any sign of the world damage. But the thing that might be a positive for Atletico is that they didn't play badly against Real Madrid. And with Barcelona's high line, and this is the thing that's been talked about at Barcelona the entire season, maybe Alvarez, he's in brilliant form as well. Alvarez and Griezmann can do them a lot of damage. And so it's a really tough game to call. I think home advantage may give Atletico the boost they need, especially after what happened this week. And now, yeah, their fans will be really looking at this game thinking we have to win this at least. But I can see a draw. I can see another entertaining score draw like we saw in the Copa del Rey.
Yeah, that would be fun, and that would play into Real Madrid's benefit as well. But Farouk, for us, it's pretty much a do or die game yet again, right? All of these, just 10 match days to go after this, and if we can get a result, do you think a point is going to be enough? It's not going to be enough, right? We need the 3 points to actually keep on the title chase.
I think we have lost, a lot of that, like that leeway. Barcelona literally were the team to beat, at a certain point in the season where they had, I think, almost an 8-point gap, and then we clawed that, and then we also established our own 8-point gap, and then, it's now literally wiped away. And but we're on the same, we're level on points with Barcelona, albeit, they have a game in hand, they have a better head-to-head record. So I don't think right now we have already lost all what we could. Like, I mean, the game against Rayo, the game against, what's it called? Oh, sorry, not Rayo. The game against Espanyol, the game against Real Betis, you look at those games, the games against Atletico Bilbao, you look at those games, and those were the games where, we had the room for, maneuvering a bit. And I think we've maneuvered as much as we can maneuver right now. It's just, you have to just, take it one game at a time. And it's just 11 finals from now till the end of the season. We have to absolutely get 3 points in every single game.
Zero margin for error. Is that the case for Villarreal too, Rahul? Like, you guys are 5 points behind Athletic Club, but you guys have a game in hand.
Yeah, so the game against Espanyol got suspended because there were fears of more floods in the Valencian region. So that was a surprise. They suspended it 10 minutes after it was meant to kick off, which was ridiculous. So yeah, there's a game in hand there. It's still not a gap that is too big. And also Athletic Club is still in Europe. And so over the course of the season, I think that they've got more points to drop. They've lost that unbeaten run. They went 15 unbeaten in La Liga, to their credit. But it's far from over, even if Villarreal lose tomorrow. But if Villarreal win, it would be massive in terms of that race, especially with Athletic Club coming to Ceramica in a few weeks. That game, I think, is a do or die no matter what happens tomorrow. If Villarreal lose at home to Athletic Club, I think top four's gone. But yeah, so the pressure I think will be on Real Madrid more tomorrow. But like, make no mistake, like Villarreal want to win this game, and in terms of top four race, it would be such a boost to win it. Where I look at the rest of the fixtures, and I think this one is, I think Athletic Club have the tougher fixtures. But yeah, I look at this one thinking if that can be an unexpected 3 points, it would gain so much ground on the top four race and the psychological boost to say to Athletic Club, yeah, we're not leaving this.
Absolutely. So both teams have a lot to lose and a lot to gain from actually winning this match day. So yeah, let's get into it, guys. Rahul, do you think you guys are keeping most of the lineup from the Alaves game? Is there going to be like a surprise start for Tiano Barry instead of Nicolas Pepe? Actually, let's talk about Nicolas Pepe first. How has he been? After that spell at Trabzonspor, is he a washed player? Could you say that?
No, I think I was excited when he signed, and then when he first joined, he had some really bright moments. He scored a brilliant goal against, who is it? Rayo? I want to say Rayo. Could be wrong, but yeah, he scored a brilliant goal early on in the season. Then he picked up an injury; he was out for a while, and that was really frustrating for him because he's had a difficult few years since leaving Arsenal. And even at Arsenal, I did like him. I thought he was unfairly treated. Like, he was a £72 million record signing, and he didn't live up to those expectations. That doesn't necessarily mean he was a bad footballer. And he's very skillful. His left foot is phenomenal. He can really strike a ball from distance well. But he has those frustrating moments. He has those games where he kind of dips in and out. And yeah, I think Marcelino has put him up front in the last few weeks. Jeremy Pino has been on the right, and he's not been at his best either. But I think he values his work rate a bit more over Pepe. And Pepe's been centre forward over Barry. And I think I read earlier that Marcelino intends to stick with that. I think he values his kind of trickery up front to gain a bit more like flair up top, a bit more creativity. And then Barry can come off the bench as a more physical presence. But yeah, it's not been an easy season for Pepe. But I wouldn't say it's been a bad one. When he has played, for the most part, he's done pretty well. He's not been great in every single game. And yeah, last week against Alaves, he really wasn't at it. But yeah, he has that quality where all he needs is one moment in front of goal, and he can strike it top bins.
Right, that's going to be scary, especially since our midfield right now, at least Farouk, isn't known for actually stopping any of these forays. Just a couple of passes and the opponents are clean through. So, do you think, considering we played 120 minutes with the same midfield, we're going to find it tough against Villarreal?
Absolutely, I definitely do think so, because when you look at it, like the big hitters, like literally have been through a brick wall. So I think it's going to be very difficult. When we look at players like Bellingham, look at Tchouaméni, you look at most likely Valverde if he comes back into the midfield, which I expect to be the case. Like they're going to come into this game absolutely knackered. So it's going to be really, really difficult. And when you look at as you were saying, like the fact that one pass actually gives the opposition almost a chance. So with the kind of player that Alex Baena is, with the kind of speed that you have with the front two that plays for Villarreal, it's gonna be something that we have to look out for. But eventually we just have to hope that one way or another, our goalkeeper and our defense is awake and able to snuff out the fires.
Absolutely. And one player that is going to be starting for sure is Jose Perez, right? Rahul, talk to us about like the threat he possesses. Like, what kind of goals can Real Madrid fans expect him to score against us if he scores?
Well, he's someone who has a lot of pace. He's obviously not the most physical. He's not going to score a header from a corner. But on the counter-attack, especially if Real Madrid's midfield is a bit leggy, he can find those spaces in transition. He makes some perfect runs. And yeah, his finishing is just phenomenal. Like whenever he's popped up with a goal, it's not been a tap-in. It's been pretty difficult finishes, but he managed to find the back of the net most of the time. And yeah, I'd say he's nailed on to start for me. I'd be shocked if he didn't. Gerard Moreno is out injured again, annoyingly. And so it does limit the options to Barry, Pepe, and Jose. And I think it will be Jose Perez with Pepe up front. And that'd be the more speedy attack as well. I think that would be the one that on the counter in transition, I think you'll have a lot of quick players running at you at the same time. And whether your midfield can handle that after 120 minutes in midweek, then that's a really key battle there.
Yeah, even our fullbacks. Mendy is out, so Fran Garcia is going to get a rest. Going to get the start. But on the right, if Valverde plays it again, I don't know if he can last the whole 90 minutes. Farouk, do you think that's the reason why Lucas Vazquez comes in, or is Lucas Vazquez our starter for La Liga games?
I do think that's not just the reason why Lucas Vazquez comes in. I think the point is that also you want to, bring back continuity also into the middle of the park, with giving Freddy Valverde, that's still in the ability to, provide a steal for the defenders in front of him. And of course, like Lucas Vazquez is a seasoned player. Like, okay, he has his flaws, but you also know what you're getting from him more or less. And this is a game that we need as much attacking output that we can get from the fullbacks as much as possible, while not losing that solidity in the middle of the park. So I do think for Fede Valverde, but I always say, like, even if he dies, his tombstone will be placed on the pitch and he's going to be the 11th man for Real Madrid. Like, that's just how vital, important, and irreplaceable he is. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him also play the full 90, depending on how the result of the game goes, of course.
Yeah. The 11th, 12th, and 13th man for Real Madrid. Very well, buddy. But yeah, Rahul, can you take us through the lineup quickly? Like, I know I'm looking at that right back spot, and I'm eyeing Foyt versus Vinny again for this match day as the key matchup.
Yeah, I think it will be Foyt in there. He's been back at right back the last few games. When he came back from injury, he went into the centre, which I wasn't the biggest fan of. I think once he went to right back, that's when his true quality showed through. His quality on the ball, going forward, just in possession, he almost tucks in as a midfielder at times. Whereas at centre back, he doesn't really have the freedom to do that. And he's also not the most physical defender. He's not Raul Albiol. He's not a towering centre back who can win duels in the air. So I think he does suit the right. So I think it will be Foyt on the right. I think it will be Cambuala and Logan Costa in the middle, same as last week. Eric Bailly is Eric Bailly. He is a bomb scare at times. And I don't want to see Eric Bailly against Mbappe. Definitely not. So I think it will be Cambuala. It'll be a big test for he's still quite young. He's 20. Like, I'm really bad with ages, sorry. But
20 is super young for a centre back.
Yeah, still really young for a centre-back, still relatively inexperienced. He had one season at Man United. But yeah, he's a good talent. He's good on the ball. He's good. He's quite strong. and he's got a lot of pace. So I think, yeah, against Mbappe, I think him and Logan Costa would be the ones I go for. I think it's definitely going to be Sergio Cardona on the left. I'm pretty sure Pedraza is back from injury. Like, I have to double check, but yeah, Cardona's been phenomenal since January. He had a bit of a slow start, but going forward, he's really, really key now. He's got something like 8 assists since January or something ridiculous.
Whoa.
And yeah, like, he has been brilliant going forward. Defensively, there were question marks over him at the start of the season, but he silenced his critics essentially. And then, yeah, in midfield, it's a toss-up between Dani Parejo or Santi Comizana. And I do like Comizana. He came in from Rayo last summer. He's a bit more physical. He's a very, very physical profile. And Parejo is a brilliant footballer. He's a Villarreal legend as well. But his legs are starting to go, and it's starting to show in recent games. And I think if Fede Valverde is in the middle, I think I'd prefer Comesaña there. And then he'd be next to Pape Gay, who has been, again, a brilliant signing, came in from Marseille in the summer for free. And he's someone who can just do a bit of everything. He can defend, he can attack. He attacks the box really well when in possession, but he's also got legs outside of it. And yeah, I think he's made himself a starter. So those two in the middle, I think it'll be 4-4-2 as Marcelino's usual. I think it will be Jeremy Pino on the right and Alex Baena on the left. So yeah, pretty much the same as last game. It's the question that people are asking is, should Pepe be on the right, Barry up front? But yeah, I think Jeremy's work rate will come in handy, especially if Fran Garcia is pushing forward all game as well. So a bit of speed there, and he will track back and track with Garcia. And yeah, Baena is on the left. He roams around a fair bit as well. He comes into the middle. He dribbles everywhere. Like, try and stop him if you can. And yeah, if Lucas Vazquez, he will have a tough game ahead of him with both Cardona and Baena there. And then yeah, as we said before, up front, I think it will be Ayoze and Nicolas Pepe. And in transition, that'll be Villarreal's game plan: soak up the pressure and hit him on the counter.
Right. Farooq, just listening to this, we might be facing another deep block with, fast transitions. That doesn't spark confidence, man. Like,
at all, man. And that's the thing, as much as Villarreal needs this game, like we also need this game. So that maybe a level of impatience might lead to kind of sloppiness from our side, because if they go, as Rahul is actually rightly highlighted now, this is more or less the kryptonite to our team. Deep blocks, the ability to, the inability to break down deep blocks is something that's actually bugged our team a lot. So I do think, how much pressure will we be under, to perform, considering the fact that we know the next day someone is absolutely going to drop points. You have to capitalize on that. So that pressure, pushes you to be more, desperate. And, the desperation can lead to, as I said before, this is a player that can play a pass in Baena. You have players like Pepe, you have players like Ayoze Perez, you have players like Jeremy Pino that can actually absolutely capitalize on those situations as well. So it's Lucas Vazquez, just, to put an asterisk to that. It's Fran Garcia on the other side as well, to put an asterisk to that. So these are players that are not known for their defensive, prowess. So a good pass could create a chance where it's going to be 2 wingers against 2 center backs. No matter how good center backs are, like, wingers are always faster. Wingers are always, more, are always, how should I say, are always more credited to, to win those one-on-ones, because they are wingers. Like, their pace is what they have, which most center backs lack generally. So this is just it's gonna be, a really, really interesting game. That's why I said, for me, it's literally a very risky encounter at the Ceramica on Saturday.
Yeah, especially considering, I'm not really worried about Asensio keeping up pace with these guys, but I believe, the reports came out that Rudiger was playing with pain, and especially after those 120 minutes, I think this is one game where Alaba makes it back, unless, it is going to be risky playing Rudiger again in this game. So yeah, if we're going to be up against it, why don't we go through the lineups for it?
Yeah, we can just start from there where you just rightly mentioned. Actually, I'm actually anticipating Rudiger being on the bench. Actually, I do think it's going to be David Alaba and Raul Asensio starting together as a pair, and we're gonna have Fran Garcia, considering Mendy was actually injured towards the end of the last game at the Metropolitano. And then, of course, I expect to see Lucas Vazquez come back. And Thibaut Courtois completes the back five more or less in that sense. And in the midfield, I think there's not a lot of room to maneuver. But I'll just pose the question to you, Jacob. Like, considering the cameo that Camavinga had in that game, do you think you replace him with Tchouaméni at the base of the midfield? Because more or less now we play a double pivot. We do not play like a single base.
Yep.
Do you think a Camavinga Fede Valverde combo at the base of the midfield would be something?
I don't know, man. Like, I would rather keep Tchouaméni and then take out who is Modric from in there. I don't know.
I mean the midfield three. I mean we're talking about midfield three right now. Right? So it's like Tchouaméni, Fede Valverde, and Jude Bellingham, right? So it's like you have a double base, and then you have Jude at more as like, I don't know, a floating 8, a floating 10, whatever.
I get what you're trying to say, man. But for me, I feel like maybe Valverde, especially for this game, maybe he keeps his right back spot, and we're just going to be throwing Camavinga in there for Modric.
I see what you're saying. Actually, that wouldn't be a bad shot. And considering how Fede Valverde has played as a right back, I absolutely, I'm down for that. Absolutely. But I do think Lucas Vazquez comes back into the team this time around, and I do think Luka Modric actually takes a seat on the bench as well. I think Modric goes to the bench, and I expect Tchouaméni to start alongside Fede Valverde at the base of the midfield. But I was just thinking, like, considering the impact that Camavinga had, it's something that might could raise a couple of thoughts, in the mindset of the coaching staff. But
absolutely, I think every Real Madrid fan, like, we were super nervous when Camavinga came in, and then we were like, oh man, this is the game. That's it. The form that he's been in. I thought that was the game, but he put out an absolute great performance, and maybe he deserves the start over Tchouaméni. It'll come down to if Carlo actually thinks if Tchouaméni needs a rest.
But that's the thing also about Eduardo Camavinga, is that the best games we all seem to remember him by are the games where he comes on as an impact.
Yeah.
So
or as a left back.
Or thank you very much. Or the games he plays as a left back. That's also a very good shout, Jacob. So now, does this now create the question about what's the long-term future for Eduardo Camavinga in this concept, in the context that is he best as an impact sub, or is he someone that you can try? I mean, we had these discussions a lot of times about Rodrigo previously, and right now Rodrigo is, I don't know, I feel like he's the one that I would not drop off the front. Of course, like, he's the less glamorous one, but he's the one that I would say I coach the first team right on the board.
Yeah, same.
You understand? Like, he has stepped up big time. So I don't know. I just feel like with the central midfielders, we're still waiting for that next step. Either be it Camavinga or Tchouaméni. We're still waiting for this, that sort of next step that you'd be like, okay, these guys are absolutely undroppable.
Yeah, man, that's a good question. Rahul, do you want to take this one? Have you been observing Camavinga's form, especially this year compared to the last?
Yeah, so he's obviously struggled with injuries a lot this season as well. And when he's been fit, he's been in and out of the team. I think whenever a midfielder is in a situation like that, I don't think it's easy, no matter who you are, what club you're at. And yeah, for me, Camavinga is one of the most talented midfielders in the world. Like, I'd say the way he brings the ball out under pressure and beats the press is almost second to none. Like, his close control is, for me, brilliant. But he's not had an amazing season. And he's been really hit and miss when he has played. But I think given that he didn't start against Atletico, he didn't have 120 minutes in his legs, but then he came on, he was brilliant. That I think if I was Carlo Ancelotti, I'd start him against Villarreal, just freshen it up in the middle a bit, especially given what Villarreal's attack could be with a whole week of rest. And as I say, 4 pretty pacey attackers potentially running at him. And especially if Raul Asensio and David Alaba, the centre-back pairing, neither of them are that dominant in the air. And then, so if it is those two, I'd say play Tchouaméni, have a bit more physical presence, helping them out in a way. And also, if it's Asensio and Alaba, I think I'd love Tierno Barry to start, because he will give them a nightmare physically, just in the air, just his speed. I think that'd be the game for him if it's those two at centre-back instead of Rudiger. But yeah, with Camavinga, he is such a talented player. He's not had. I saw rumours in the press linking with the transfer. I'd be shocked if that happened. But yeah, there's definitely more to come from Camavinga than what we've seen this season. And with the fixture pile up, with everything that's happened recently, tomorrow might be the best chance for him to come in and try and regain his starting place.
I agree. And Farouk, like you said, I think Valverde comes in to the midfield after a string of games. Bellingham keeps the spot. Maybe it's going to be Tchouaméni that's going to be axed, just for some rest. I agree with Rahul. Like, we need legs for this game, and Camavinga is going to bring it. And so, do you want to?
Yeah, I definitely think though, like the and that's the great thing that actually has been pointed out by Raul as well. It's the ability to bring the ball out. That ball recovery and just progressing the ball. The progression of the ball under pressure is something that Camavinga does phenomenally. I think maybe he's one of the best ball progressors we have in the team. Like, there is no doubt about that. The ability to thrive under pressure and those ability to win those tackles as well is something that he does best. But then again, as he has rightly pointed as well, it's been blowing hot and cold. You don't know what to expect. Well, considering like the game he had in the middle of the week, I think he's earned that starting spot in my opinion. But I do think Carlo is going to go just with the defaults that he does. With just a midfield of Tchouaméni and Fede Valverde, with Jude Bellingham just being on top of them.
Yeah, that's fair. How about the front three, man? Do you think anyone gets dropped for such an important fixture?
Nah, I do think it's the Galacticos all true, man. It's Rodrigo, it's Kylian Mbappe, and it's Vinicius Junior. I think there is absolutely no doubt about that. And I think again, Vinicius will be looking to play better considering how he's played, in the midweek. So I do think we're gonna at least we hope to see an improved performance when it comes to the game against Villarreal.
Yeah, and Rahul, like the focus has always been on Vini's side, the left-hand side, whenever we face against Villarreal. But this might be one of those games where Cardona is not really, maybe not the best defensively. He offers more up front. So is Rodrigo going to be maybe the key matchup here in this game?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that whole side of the pitch will determine how the result goes in a way. Whether Bayern can beat if it's Vázquez or Valverde at right back, whether Cardona can make the same impact he does going forward, or if Marcelino tell him to sit back a bit. And yeah, Rodrigo he's been brilliant recently. I'd say better than Vinicius for sure. And tomorrow I'm a bit more scared of Rodrigo just because he'll be on that side. And yeah, I think if Vázquez or Valverde are both up there with him, that's going to be a nightmare to defend against, as many teams have realised. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Vinny dropped in a way, because he came off with a bit of discomfort the other day. He's not been at his best, and maybe freshening it up, putting Rodrigo on the other side or Brahim Diaz in. I think that could also be. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. But with the international break coming up, then maybe it's just a case of stick with the same front three, hope they click, and then it's 2 weeks of rest for. Well, I think they'll be playing for their countries anyway, but 2 weeks of rest before the next Real Madrid fixture.
Absolutely. I would like to see that, maybe especially in the first half, with maybe Vinny coming on. Vinny coming on has always been, another step. Maybe the final push that Real Madrid need to actually go and score. But yeah, I would like that, but I don't think Carlo drops him. Because it would be kind of like sending a message for his poor performance, right? And I don't think Carlo's the guy who does that type of thing. So yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a fun match for sure, and it's going to be a hard one to call. Farouk, do you want to take a stab at actually predicting the outcome?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a hard 4-3-2 victory for Real Madrid. I think there's going to be a lot of goals, and it's going to be also a very difficult one. But at least after this we have a 2-week break, or at least the club has a 2-week break. The players, some of them still has to play, but we have a 2-week break to just reset and recalibrate, and re-energize for the final stretch of the season. But yeah, 3-2 for Real Madrid.
3-2, yeah. How about you, Rahul? Do you think it's going to be high scoring?
I think high scoring as well. I'm going to say 2-2. I think a point shared. I'd take a draw in a Villarreal perspective as well. I think that would be a good result. But yeah, I think a nice 2-2. I think Ayesa Perez definitely to score, but I think Villarreal will find a way to concede as well. So yeah, the high scoring draw. A very entertaining game ahead, and probably plenty of drama. Alex Bayern getting into it with someone. So yeah, I think we're in for a really entertaining game.
Absolutely. Yeah, just to mix things up, I agree. I think there's going to be 4 goals in this, but I'm going to stick to a 2-1 Real Madrid victory, just to stand out from you guys. No other reason. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Isco 101 was in the comments. Sunaid as well. You know, the Sunaid is predicting a 3-1 with Brahim Brace. So maybe it's like Rahul said. Maybe Brahim gets a nod ahead of Vini. But yeah, also for all of your audio platform listeners who are tuning in, go check out Rahul's links. He runs a pretty brilliant Twitter page as well, and follow him on his Twitter as well. Do you post
And
all
on
of
my
your
Instagram.
and on his Instagram? Yeah. Talk to us about the new Instagram page. What's it for?
So yeah, I'm trying to do videos on there. I might extend to TikTok as well, and that'll be about whole of La Liga in a way. Like I'll try and focus on a range of different clubs. I've got a video coming out either today or tomorrow about Real Sociedad right now. My last video was about Bellingham's red card against Osasuna, and
Okay.
that was a very controversial topic. But I was defending Bellingham there actually, Englishman in me. But yeah, no, it's something new that I've been trying the last couple months, and yeah, I'd appreciate people follow me.
Absolutely. There you go, folks. And yeah, see you guys for the post match. And you know, we might not have the match reactions because it's an away game, but stay tuned for our next episode. Until next time, folks. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Hola Madridistas, I'm back once again to remind you that if you want to help and support this project of ours, this channel, you can do so by going to manscaped.com, using our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping worldwide. That's our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. You help us out and you get a cool product. This time I'm here to introduce you guys to the Chairman Pro. It is a trimmer that features two interchangeable blade heads, one called the 4-blade foil, which is to get that super smooth baby skin, and the other one is called the stubble trimmer for if you want to still have that little bit of stubble but you know look a bit cleaner and fresher. You can do both with the same trimmer. It also features flex adjust technology. It adjusts it to your face, how you shave. You can also lock it for full precision. Best thing is waterproof. You can shave yourself in the shower if you want to. It's completely waterproof. It features 75 hours of battery life, so if you're going on some kind of travel, you can charge it beforehand and it will still have enough battery for the trip. Also, if you're going on a trip, you can lock it so that it doesn't turn on as you go. It has an LED. It's a great thing, and especially now that Christmas is coming up, if you want to send it as a gift to your boyfriend, or if you're a man, get it for yourself or your brother, dad. It's a great gift for any man, and this bad boy can even get up to like 5 days of beard, so you don't even need to trim it down before you can fully shave it. This does it for you. So yeah, get this at manscaped.com. use our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. That's code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. Thank you for watching, and back to the video.